All right, we're diving into a cookbook today, but this is something else entirely. It's not about recipes to fill you up. The real goal here is way more radical. It's about completely transforming you, the cook. So you open this book, and right away, no recipes. Just this one instruction. And it's not really a suggestion, it's more of a command, right? It's telling you to just ground yourself. Before you even think about grabbing an onion or some flour, it forces you to connect with the most basic tools you have, your own two hands. And that right there tells you, okay, we are way off the map of a normal cookbook. And this really gets to the heart of it, the big, provocative question the whole book is asking. What if your job at the stove isn't to be the big boss, the commander of the meal? What if the real work is just getting out of your own way, to totally disappear into the process? Okay, so when it says vanish, it doesn't mean you just poof, disappear. The word the book uses is dissolution. And the best way to think about it is like sugar in water, right? The sugar doesn't actually go away. Its sweetness is still there. It just becomes part of all the water. It's no longer one little grain. And that's the idea here. You go from being this solid, separate I to being spread out, part of the whole shebang. So that sounds kind of abstract, right? How does this dissolution actually work? Well, the book wants you to see your kitchen differently. It's not just for making dinner anymore, it's a laboratory. But here's the twist. You're not the scientist in the white lab coat observing everything. Nope, you are the experiment. And this just lays it out so clearly. Think about a normal scientist. They stand back, they watch, they control things. But in this model, you are the process. You can't observe it from the outside because you're smack dab in the middle of it. And you don't get to a conclusion at the end. You become the conclusion, moment by moment. Okay, so how do we actually do this? The book says it's not about some huge mystical effort. It's much simpler. It's about paying this intense, radical attention to the stuff you're already working with. Your ingredients, they become your teachers. And our first teacher is probably sitting in your kitchen right now. And this is so key to the whole philosophy. The onion isn't just a metaphor here. It's a literal teacher. The lesson isn't because it symbolizes your inner layers. No, the lesson comes from you paying super close attention to the actual physical onion in your hands. The wisdom is right there, in the thing itself. So what's the practice? It's simple. You just peel. That first papery skin, that's your public face, right? The version of you everyone sees. Then you get to the firmer layers. Those are the defenses we all build up. And as you keep going peeling away, things get simpler, more essential. And then you get to the center. And what's there? Turns out nothing. And bam, that's the big reveal from the onion. There's no core. There's no little seed or pit in the middle. It's just layers, layers all the way down, all organized around empty space. And the book's point is that this shouldn't be scary. It should be totally liberating. Think about it. If there's no fixed, solid self you have to protect all the time, imagine all the energy you get back. All right, so we've had our moment of quiet observation with the onion. Now we're going to get our hands dirty. We're moving from just looking to actually doing. And this is where we learn to let go of control, not by thinking our way there, but by getting involved in something that forces our hand. And there's no better example of this than making bread. I mean, think about it. So much of making bread is just waiting. Yeah, you do the kneading, that's active, but the rising, the dough does that all on its own. You walk away, and it doubles in size without you watching over it. It's this incredible, powerful lesson in just trusting a process you can't actually control. And that experience of just letting the dough do its thing leads to this really cool idea, the illusion of authorship. You start to realize you're not the sole creator of this loaf of bread. You're more like a collaborator. You're working with the yeast, which has its own agenda, its own intelligence. You're working with chemistry, with time. You can't make the bread rise. All you can do is create the right conditions for it to do what it naturally does. So, okay, we've peeled our onion, we've baked our bread. What's the point? What did we actually accomplish here? What is it that's really dissolving when we do this kind of mindful work in the kitchen? Well, it's these big, fundamental parts of our ego. First, that belief in a solid core self that we always have to defend. That's what the onion teaches us to let go of. Then there's the illusion that we're the sole author of everything in our lives. The bread helps us with that one. And it even goes deeper, that constant need to add value to prove we're worthy, or that fear of our own hunger, our own needs.
all of that starts to soften, to dissolve.
And all of this leaves us with one last, really big question to chew on. Because obviously, this isn't just about soup or bread, right? It's a whole way of looking at life. So the question for you is this. Where else in your life, in your job, in your relationships, maybe in a creative project, where are you trying so hard to be the cook, to control every little detail? And what might happen if you let go and just started being the cooking instead?